was the one that everyone wanted. On August 8th, 2022, Olivia Newton-John passed away. So in her memory, we're talking movies, we're talking Grease, starring Olivia Newton-John, John Travolta, and Stockard Channing. Written by Bronte Woodward, the adaptation by Alan Carr, and original music done by Jim Jacobs and Warren Casey, which was directed by Brendan Kleisler. Chris, if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter.
You know me, rocking and rolling. Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie? We're going to be talking about the 1978 film Grease, which is adapted from the 1971 original musical. Scott, take us away. Turn your video on.
Come on. About right now.
Oh, look at you. Look at you with the background. No, you got to put it back up, man. What are you doing?
I am back up.
Okay.
He's talking about it. It's not gone. I'm fucking here. I'm watching it. So, like, in terms of this film, like, we can just go on and say that really there isn't a person that hasn't watched this film, right? Even with its flaws, like, this movie is like a rite of passage. Everyone's watched it. Everyone knows the songs, and everyone likes this movie, right?
Yeah, I don't, it's got a 76 from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes and 87% from the audience, which I mean, I think is good. Especially older movies, they don't know necessarily get reviewed enough to have like the appropriate scores for how much people really enjoy them. But yeah, like, I don't know if I know anyone who like hates Grease. I mean, I guess if you really, really, really don't like musicals, but if you have any type of like fucking enjoyment in your body, Grease tickles that bone or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so you hate it then.
I love this film. It's so fun.
You're
Even
like,
as cheesy as it is, it's super fun.
yeah, it is. And like, I think this film is the one that like set the standard, right? Of 30-year-olds playing
High school
50.
students.
Yeah.
Why are you so old?
Yeah, out of all of them, there was only like Lorenzo Lamas was the closest that was 19 years old when this film was made, right?
Yeah, and the actor that played Rizzo or whatever was like in her 30s or whatever.
Stockard Channing was 33, yeah.
Yeah.
But so was Olivia Newton-John was 28. Travolta was 23. But that's the thing, like even though Olivia Newton-John was only like older than Travolta, like she looks way younger than him.
Yeah,
He
it's
looks
like Travolta looks like he's like 29 or 30. Like
Yeah.
he just, I mean, he's kind of got like a man's face, so he doesn't have that like kind of young, boyish, like you said, even close to high school aesthetic. But it doesn't matter. Like, you don't even think about the fact that like some of them look like straight up grown-ups. You know what I mean? It's like,
No.
it's a musical, fucking go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, like it's like this film is like 100% enjoyment. Like you can just throw it on and you'll find yourself singing and dancing.
So it's interesting. While I was watching it, I was kind of comparing it to like the remake of West Side Story, which I didn't like. And I'm like, what is it like what is it about these two films? Like, why do I like Grease versus like West Side Story? And I'm like, I think it's just almost like they kind of leaned into the cheesiness. Like it's not serious. There's nothing really serious about this film.
Oh,
And
this
that
movie
almost
is
gives
like
it gives you the license to just enjoy it, like eating. I know I always say candy corn, but nobody actually likes candy corn. So I don't know, cotton candy.
yeah, but this film, I think the thing that you like about this film is like every scene, every line is a double entendre.
Yeah, it is. He's
Right.
lying.
Even the songs. And in reality, that's what they did well, right? That's why like little kids, like young adults like this movie. right? And then when you're older, it's like
You like this movie.
Yeah, you're like, I get what she's saying. Right?
Hey!
Hi, girls.
So I didn't realize until I was starting to do my notes for the show that Bill Butler, the fucking cinematographer from Jaws and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Well, he picked up on Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He did Rocky 2, 3, and 4. He also did Child's Play and American Tail, which was like one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. But I was like, this is the same cinematographer as Jaws, and Jaws has amazing camera work, right? And you don't really, because there's nothing in Grease that's like super complicated, like as far as like the filming, and there's nothing that looks super arty, so it's just like really, really, really competent camera work. But maybe that's part of it too. Like it just works. Like they've got a lot of like tracking shots when they're dancing. Even the race down at what do they call it? What's the place
Thunder Road or
Thunder Road? Yeah, like that's well shot as well. Like I don't know, man. It's just kind of like a fun film, and I don't know. I think to go at this thing and like really critique it would make someone an asshole even more than I am. You know what I mean?
There is nobody more of an asshole than you.
That's my role on the show.
But yeah, like it was interesting. Like when I was like doing my research too, like it's funny, like Jeff Conaway was so infatuated with Olivia Newton-John that whenever they're around, he was tongue-tied with her. Like he couldn't talk around her. And then he ended up later marrying her sister.
That's kind of creepy if you think about it. It's like it's like you're going home for like, you know, family dinner and stuff, and you're just like staring at your wife's sister.
Well, I'm pretty sure like he was like, I'm guessing it was her younger sister, so he's like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah,
I'm okay with this.
Yeah, but that's not a bad trade-off, I guess.
But like in terms of like kind of something tragic was with Jeff Conaway, he in filming that Grease Lightning dance number,
yeah,
he actually hurt his back, and that's
like
what's
permanently.
Like yeah, he hurt his back pretty bad, and that's what started his unfortunate like addiction to like pain medicine and drugs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's something that is
that scene. But on a brighter side,
on a brighter side, we're actually doing this film because unfortunately Olivia Newton-John has passed away a couple weeks ago. She was only 73. It looks like it was complications from breast cancer that had come back in 2017. But this is like the third kind of bout she had with it. So it is unfortunate. I am glad we are doing this and not Xanadu. I realized I don't even actually know if I have seen all of Xanadu. I don't think I've ever actually been able to get through the whole movie because it's fucked. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's why I said I'm like, we might as well do this one, right? Because like, I think in reality we never like, not like we never would have done this film.
No,
without that, because it is like one of those films like you don't really have that much to talk about because it's so well liked.
And like you said, everybody knows this. They're like, what opinion are you going to give on this film that nobody has given before? What are you going to say about it that no one's ever said about it before? And like I said, if you come and try and just to trash it, you're a fucking asshole. So
yeah, like you can look at it with like, you know, 2022 eyes and be like, some of these lyrics don't you know, go well. Like, did she put up a fight? Yeah. Like,
She was good, you know what I mean. The chicks are cream for Grease Lightning. Tell me more. Did she put up a fight?
They didn't age well, and neither did the cast.
I would say the cast aged well.
Yeah, they did. They did fine. They were super aged already. That's why.
Yeah. True enough.
This thing made fucking so much money off it. So it had a $6 million budget and it made $366 million. I would call that a win in the production category. You know what I mean?
For the longest time, this was the third highest film in box office history.
That's crazy. That is so
it
crazy.
was, I think it was Jaws. Fuck, I don't know what the second one was, but this one was third. But yeah, for the longest time, it was Jaws, something else than this one.
Well, on this soundtrack, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but like the soundtrack for this also made like $1 gazillion. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This was again one of those soundtracks that like tons of people had, right? Like,
Won't go to bed till I'm legally wed. I can't. I'm Sandra D. Nowhere to hide since you pushed in heaven forever.
I'm not for sure because I know for Saturday Night Fever, obviously that John Travolta was in. People were walking out of the theater and into the record shop and buying the soundtrack, and I would suspect it was similar with this one. And I would say that Grease actually like revived the like rockabilly subculture in the 80s. Is I bet you could draw a direct line from this movie to the like, you know, kids starting to dress like greasers and like again that whole rockabilly subculture coming back in the mid 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I looked it up and I just lost my Greek cred. The second highest movie was Star Wars.
Really? So Grease was fucking just under Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's so crazy, man. That's so crazy.
But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, fuck, even yeah, I still remember like me in high school, like the soundtrack was still being bought, right? Like,
oh, I thought you were like, that's not where I thought you were going with that. You were gonna be like, and me in high school, getting my hair all ready, you know,
yeah,
stuff.
No.
I mean, you did go to a Catholic school like I did, so I mean, we're probably not that far off from the truth.
No. I can tell you 100% no.
Grease, Scotty. Ooh.
But it was interesting. You know, this was supposed to be a planned trilogy, right?
Oh, really? I did not know that, actually.
Yeah, but Grease 2 bombed so bad that they never tried.
That's Michelle Pfeiffer, isn't it?
Yeah, it was Michelle Pfeiffer. But yeah, like it bombed in theaters so bad that they never even tried to do it. But back in, I think it was like 2002 or so, like Travolta and Olivia Newton-John were like trying hard to get the third one made, which would have been the original cast like in the 90s. So like them like aged kind of appropriately for what their characters were and like catch up back with them. I guess it would have probably been like the 20th high school anniversary or something,
like reunion or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I guess it wouldn't be 20th because if this movie was in the 50s,
it'd be like 60, 70, Jesus, like 40th.
Yeah, the 40th wedding anniversary or 40th high school anniversary.
No, that sounds fucking stupid. I'm glad they didn't do it. I mean, even the whole, you know, having Grease 2, like Grease works because it's like, well, first off, it's based on a stage play. So it has like an entire narrative arc that concludes. There's no requirement to have a sequel. There's definitely no requirement unless you're going to put a fucking Yoda in there and then bam, you can have like a proper trilogy. Why the fuck would you want to watch a movie about a bunch of old greasers in the 90s singing and dancing with walkers and stuff? Like, na, 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 na. That does not sound like an enjoyable movie. It sounds fucking ridiculous.
Get the bikes!
Yeah.
So yeah, I still managed to be an asshole on the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but you know, to see Olivia Newton-John back in that leather outfit, like, still would have worked.
But why would she be back in the leather outfit? It's the
why wouldn't she?
Now. She would probably she'd have to have like 90s hair, like the big like Friends hair or whatever, like Jennifer Aniston.
No, because you know, like at the end of the movie, they would like go back to the 50s, right? So he would be back in his varsity. Yeah. That's how it ends, right? Doc Brown shows up. Like, Danny, we gotta come back. Lightning? Your kids are dicks.
Doctors, Grease Lightning. I don't know why I did a Christopher Walken voice.
I don't know either.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Yeah, man. Like, John Travolta has had like a very interesting career because he blew up with Saturday Night Fever. And then he was in like Look Who's Talking, and then whatever. I think a million of
Fuck
those.
you! Don't you dare say a word about Look Who's Talking.
No. The first one was good.
Exactly.
But then he had that career downturn, which allowed Quentin Tarantino to afford him for Pulp Fiction, and then he came back up. I'll be honest, I don't know if I love him. I mean, he's fine in all the stuff he did have like Broken Arrow or whatever. I mean, he had that little phase where he was kind of like, would you call him like an action star, like Face Off? Like what? I don't know. What would you say that period of his career he was? It's not drama. I guess it's action, right? Swordfish, all that.
I would call the
Paycheck Blair.
I'm getting paid thanks to Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. So hey, and I know it's early, so you can take your drink because I said the T word. So
yeah.
managed to shoehorn that fucker in there.
They were in another movie together, which I've never seen in my life.
Yeah,
like I Two of a Kind.
Yeah, I saw that, and I didn't even put it in my notes. I'm like, yeah, no one's gonna have ever seen that fucking movie. So
yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've never watched that movie before. See, we should have done that movie.
Oh yeah, we should have done that. Yeah,
and then we could have actually talked, right? It is funny. Like horrible. one of her last screen credits was actually Sharknado 5.
I saw that. No, I did not see Sharknado 5. I saw that she had been in Sharknado 5. So, I mean, she's rich as fuck, right? Like, cause she was like a pop star and stuff all before Grease. And then like, we all know Olivia Newton-John from like Physical, right? Like, and then who was it that basically remade that video, the electronic artist or whatever?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like that video is iconic. Like people it's been referenced in other movies, it's been made fun of, it's been spoofed.
Well, was it didn't fucking Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis and Perfect even had like a little like play on it, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure she wasn't hurting for cash. Which actually now I actually want to know, like, why the fuck were you in Sharknado 5? Like, was it a big like truck of money? Was it just like, fuck, if you're rich, let's be in movies, it's fun, like, you know what I mean? Like, how did you get Olivia Newton-John into Sharknado 5? Now that's something I actually want to look up.
Well, it's probably not to get paid, but it seemed like a lot of people were making cameos in this Sharknado series. Like I haven't watched one, but I know like a lot of people were just, you know, getting paid for a day's work of getting eaten by a
Sharknado,
CGI
what?
Shark.
Yeah, I'm glad. Did you have to think about that? Like,
no, I figured you already started to interrupt me, so I figured you were just gonna take it over, right? So that's why I was like, all right.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Chris's podcast with our guest Scott. Okay, Scott, that was great. Have a great day. Oh yeah, we forgot about Battlefield Earth, which was probably like, I don't know, would you consider that the lowest point in John Travolta's career? The whole getting kind of well, he is crazy for Scientology, and also then making a crazy Scientology movie.
Yes, but again, this isn't a
religious podcast.
No, it's not. It's not something like this is about Olivia Newton-John, not about John Travolta.
I understand that, but we're talking about the movie, and we're talking about one of the most famous people in the movie, so we can do that. It's our show. We can do whatever the fuck we want. Okay. We could actually
I'll say this.
We could actually have said this is our Grease episode and then just talked about a different movie, because we've done that basically before too.
Yes. Yeah, in terms of Battlefield, you know what? It's probably one of his most watched films, because people rewatch bad movies constantly.
And then they do podcasts on them.
Yes. Like, there probably is a Battlefield. Is it called Battlefield or Battleground Earth?
It's Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield Earth. There's a little can berry peppers in it. Right?
There we go.
But yeah, I bet you there probably is a podcast just dedicated to that movie.
Probably.
And now I want these hosts on our show. If there is.
If you're listening, hosts of the Battlefield Earth podcast which may or may not exist, hit us up and you can come on the show and talk about your podcast.
There you go for April. If there
You know
is
what we're
not,
gonna find out is it's actually more popular even than our podcast. So they're like,
well,
yeah, sorry, we're not stooping to that level to come on your show.
well, we are self-defecating here, so
I'm pretty sure it's not. I think we've had
it's
this
a joke.
conversation.
I know it's a joke.
Scott, are you self-defecating right now?
It is. Listen, I am regular, and this recording is very earlier than normal.
Yeah,
so
normally
we are
I
getting.
have to have my coffee and do that stuff before coming on the show. But since you got me on the show right now, the coffee is still percolating through me, and
Yeah, exactly.
I am now
I've been slowly
self-defecating.
sipping.
We have spent more time talking about self-defecating than we have about Olivia Newton-John. So there we go. See, I told you, it's our podcast. We can do whatever we want. Yeah, man. Like I said, if you haven't seen this film, I don't know how you could not have seen this, unless you just don't like musicals. And if you really just don't like musicals, I don't know. Do you think that someone who doesn't, because it is a musical, but there's lots of talking and stuff like that. I think you could actually like this even if you're not a big fan of musicals. It's fun. It's a very fun movie, right? And it's set in the 50s and it's cool cars, and I mean, I like that whole greaser aesthetic. I think it's fucking cool. The poodle skirt,
like, there's two things I want to say. Like, one, in terms of that race, like, I'm pretty sure that Grease Lightning was not built for that race, because once it does that jump, it looks like that car, like they had to edit that shit out because that car was about to fucking break, right? When you're watching everything like fly up and down, I'm like,
remember when you see Grease Lightning before they take it into the shop? Well, you see it in the shop as well, but like, it's a piece of shit. So dramatic.
Yeah. The other
so
thing,
that's two things. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, actually, we're gonna do third. What is your favorite song on this?
Ooh, oh man, you kind of put me on the spot there. I mean, the opening track that is, I think it's written and sang by Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees. That's like a really cool track. In it's like, it's got that like a really great vibe to it. You know, Grease is the word. That actually might, now that I think about it, that might be one of my favorite songs in it. I mean, Grease Lightning is fun just because they're like dancing all over the. And then I don't know, man. Even the Sandra D song is like, it's super assholey the way they're just like mocking the shit out of her and talking about her virginity and stuff. So
Troy Donna, I know what you wanna do.
I don't know, man. Okay, if I have to pick one, I'm gonna pick the opening track. What about you?
I don't know.
Fuck you. You can't just like throw a question out and be like,
oh, it's obviously like, it's obviously you're the one that I want. Like, obviously. But you know what is interesting, like in terms of her contract, like with this movie, it was stipulated she had to have a solo song in it. And that's how Hopelessly Devoted got in. Like, they wrote it specifically for this because of her contract. And even the director's like, I have no idea where we're supposed to put this.
And so they're just like, here.
Yeah, they're like,
here.
Yeah, but it's some of the things, like some of the best scenes, right? Like they filmed it and then it just worked, right? And they're like, okay, we'll just put it here, right? But okay, so the whole, like, you know, TikTok internet meme that technically Grease is just Sandy D's
like what would you call that, like the last moments of her death,
yeah,
or
what she thought,
yeah,
that apparently she died at the beginning of the film, that
the
Danny
whole like
didn't
Danny
save her.
Yeah What about it? That's it? That you just want to say that?
Do you agree with it? What do you think of that?
I mean, it's an interesting, because in the end they drive off into the sky, right? So
yeah, but obviously it's a fucking
I mean,
musical.
listen,
it's Grease Lightning.
And it's Grease Lightning, yeah. I mean, it's possible. But she hadn't been to fucking high school yet. So how is she? I mean, again, it would be a fantasy. It would be her last like neurotransmissions before dying. She could be inventing all of that, but like, She doesn't know these fucking people yet. So I don't know. I haven't put a lot of thought into that aspect. I've heard that before over the last couple of years. I don't know why even people need to come up with that shit. They fucking did a thing. There's a whole movie. Why do they need to have a weird ending? Like, why do you have to invent this ending? Like, I don't understand.
Nah, I get it. Some people like, reading stuff more into films than are really there. And
why do I have a feeling this is not going somewhere good for me?
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, some people do that and they're just like why is
that? Or no, like you and Nope, just reading all this subtext that does not exist, just fucking made up by Scott or the internet.
Buddy, Nope is this generation's Jaws, and
you're a fucking asshole.
And Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Fuck that.
It's both of them combined.
After this year, no one will even fucking talk about Nope. The only fucking Jaws. Are you fucking insane?
Yeah.
You are high as a fucking kite.
Close Encounter and Jaws. It's our generation's, buddy.
Not our generations, this generation.
This generation.
We have Jaws and Close Encounters.
This generation. It's not even going to be like this next 3 months, Jaws and Close Encounter of the Third Kind. Like, because of when this came out too, trying to do the like summer blockbuster thing, I would be surprised. It's going to be very interesting come Oscar time if anybody's even really, other than the fact that it's a Jordan Peele film and it's like really, beautifully shot. This thing is gonna fucking run out of steam. So fuck this generation's Jaws. Like I said, it's not gonna be 3 months Jaws. You know what I mean?
I guess a wager will be
sacrilege. I cannot believe you just fucking said that.
Listen,
you do not.
Jaws is my favorite movie of all time.
I know. I don't know. You need to go back to fucking bed, man, because that's ridiculous.
Anyways, now you threw me off about all this shit.
Yeah. So back to Grease and Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah. So what were we talking about? If she was, what the fuck were we talking about?
What do you mean? What we were talking? You
before you like went off
you were
your
talking
little
about going into like heaven, like the meme about Grease and all that jazz.
Oh no, what I was saying, people read into shit like that aren't really there. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I realized watching this movie a lot is how much you've dedicated your life to being Danny Zuko, and you're just waiting for that one girl to completely change every ideal and who she is personally to turn into just what you want to be.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I'm just waiting for another dance number.
Oh, that too. Like that's why we don't go in front of a live studio audience, because like for 15 minutes would just be you dancing up to the stage and be like, hey.
Be like, guys, and then like dance off the stage.
Then you'd be like, guys, did I tell you I used to do ballet? Professionally trained. Look, I can still parlay or whatever the fuck it is called.
Parlay. We're not pirates.
I don't know what it's called.
I think it's the word you were looking for. Parlay.
I don't know
any fucking Jack Sparrow. Jesus. Yeah, man. I like this film. I think it's a lot of fun. I probably watch it at least like once a year. It definitely was one of those ones that when it came on Sunday, it like you again, if you caught whether it was the first 5 minutes or the last, like you were watching the fucking movie. Like you're like, I guess I'm doing Grease this afternoon, so.
And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com. Like right now we're like talking about like how bad method acting is and stuff like that. Like they're on the Succession guy because he's like super like method.
Yeah.
Do you know those hickeys on?
Those are real.
Yeah. Jeff Conway's like, no, you're actually gonna get hickeys from Kaneki. Like, just imagine that, being fucking 30 years old and you're getting hickeys from a 28-year-old. Like, I thought I was over this 20 years ago.
And like they're like prop hickeys. Like you're doing it intentionally. Like you're sucking on my throat like Count Chocula.
Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.